Hello everybody, welcome back to my series on making a clicker/idle game in Unity. My name is Taylor, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to spice things up a little bit with your the look of your game. So we're going to add like some backgrounds, we're going to add some button PNGs, stuff like that, maybe add some fonts, and yeah, make this thing look nicer. So let's just get right into it. So I went ahead and downloaded a couple PNGs already. You can just get a still background if you like, or if you want to use a GIF, I'll be showing you guys how to use that as well. You can go to thefont.com and get yourself a font. Very useful site. I come here all the time for all kinds of fonts. So you can just download whichever one you want. It'll come in a zip, and you can open the zip and extract the TTF file. That's what we need. Oops. So when we have the TTF, we can just delete the zip. That's fine. So we'll just go ahead and add this font real quick. So if you're going to be adding multiple, it'll be a lot easier to just add a fonts folder. So I'm just going to make a folder, call it fonts, and drag that TTF file in here. Okay. So now if we were to select all of our texts, oops. I think that's all of them. What we can do is over here where it says font Arial, we can just drag our font right there. Okay, yeah, so that looks somewhat better. I guess most things are still a little bit too big, but that's fine. So let's just change some of these. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Just make this one a little bit bigger there so we know it works. And so that's the that's adding fonts and stuff. That's pretty simple. So now let's just add the sprites for the buttons. So let's just make a new folder. I'm going to call it sprites. And so I've got these ones here. One is a GIF, so I'm not going to add that right now. I'll just leave that for later. But I've got this button PNG here. I'll have the link to all the stuff in the description, by the way. If you want to go download the same images and stuff that I use, you can. But once you have a PNG from your button, just select all the buttons that you have, which I think that's it. And then just drag your button PNG onto the sprite area, and you're good to go. If you want to change the color of this, it might work somewhat if you do this. Like it might not, but the easiest way to do that is to put the file in GIMP or Photoshop or something like that, and then just change the hue. So now that the button is done, if you want to add a still background, you can watch this part. If not, there'll be a timestamp on the video if you want to know how to add a GIF, like an animated background, and you can skip right to it. But if you do want to add a still image, just go to UI, image, and then just drag it to the top so it's behind everything. And just resize it to the size of your canvas. Then over here where it says source image none, just drag your still image in there, and you are good to go. Just change the color of your text and whatnot like that so that matches your background, and that's it. You're finished. But now if you want to do a animated background with a GIF, what we need to do is actually take the GIF and split it into individual frames, which it's not as hard as it sounds. So just go to this link in the description, EZGif.com, and once you're here, just go to the split tab right here, and then you take your image, drag it in there, and upload. And once it's uploaded, hit split to frames. And so once it's finished, you'll have a big list of all the images that they cut from this animation. So all you need to do is hit download frames as zip, and you'll get that. And so once you have that, just make sure you extract them to a folder, because Unity doesn't like it when you take things straight from the zip and try and import it. So once you have that into a folder, just drag the folder into Unity. I'm just going to put it in my sprites folder. And there we go. There's all of our frames. And so we're going to need to make an animation. So I'll just make a new folder. Call it animations. We're only going to need to make one animation, but it's just for organization's sake. Let's make a folder. Then come down here to, where is it? Animation. Make an animation. I'm going to name this EZGif for background GIF. And so what we need to do is, we can get rid of this one actually, but we still need an image. So UI image, drag it to the top so it's behind everything. Resize it. Oops. And then let's drag this animation that we just made onto the image, and that will create a controller so it knows what it's doing. Now, if you don't have this animation tab over here, then you can just hit Window, Animation, and hit Animation right here. And it might pop up in its own window. If it does pop up in its own little window, or even maybe down here, you can just click the tab and drag it around wherever you want to put it. I usually put it over here. But anyway, once you have that open, click on our image that has the EZGif animation on it, and then go into sprites, open up our folder full of sprites, and then select all of them, and then drag them over here. And if you hit play, you can preview what it would look like. If you want to slow the animation down, you just bring down the samples. 30. If you have it too low though, it's going to look choppy. Like if I put this at 10, it looks almost like it's lagging. Same thing if you don't have very many frames in your animation, then you don't want to go too high with your samples. But actually no, sorry, you don't want to go too low with your samples. The higher the better if you have less frames. But the more frames you have, the lower you can go. I'm going to leave this at 30. 30 looks pretty good. So that's it for that. Now that we have our background, stop this. I'm going to change the color of my texts here. So we get the level, idle upgrades, the cost. I'm going to leave the ones that are on the buttons as black, just because it's not a big deal. You can still see them pretty easy. And so you just select all those and come down here to color. And you can just change the color to like a gray or a white, whatever you want. And then if you play the animation, it looks much better. You can actually see what's going on. Just for look's sake, when you're editing, I'm going to change the base image of this image so that we can actually see like a preview without actually having to play the animation to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to go into sprites and just grab one of the frames and put them onto our image, just like that. And you don't have to worry about if you do add a frame there that the animation will work. It'll still work fine once you play it. But that's just so that if you're not doing the animation at the time, if you're just editing, you can still see what it will look like. So there are a few spots here where the text color is a bit off. It blends in a little bit, but not too big of a deal. So now once we hit play, you can see the sizes of everything and the costs and stuff. Not too bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I forgot. It will stop if you don't hit loop. So go back to your animations folder. EZGif, click that, and for loop time, just check that. And there you go. So now it should loop every time it's over. Which it did. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty simple, easy stuff. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll have another episode up within the next couple days probably. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoy these videos. And I'll see you guys next time.